Hey Gio,
Yo,
how are
Look at
you?
that. Look at that
I'm doing well.
classic,
I'm doing well. Excited to
classic
be here.
PFP. Jiho.
Yes, I think this is the first official time Jiho is on Woku Wednesday. Actually, I think you were here once near the start, but this is the first time. So I think this is exciting to have it for a grand arena and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I mean, I'm excited to learn more about Grand Arena, so I'm gonna kind of come in with relatively fresh eyes. I know some stuff about it, and I've seen stuff about it. I've talked to Bruce and Hontao a bit about Grand Arena, but I'm gonna try and come in with like kind of a beginner's mindset, and I'm ready for this
Yeah,
exploration.
for sure. No, that's awesome, and I think you're getting a warm welcome in the crowd from the community right now. You're being welcomed well. So yeah,
Dude, that thing is freaking me out. Like is that like
this is a
is that
huge
like
part of the Moku culture right now.
is that like Frieza? Is that like Frieza Moki? The shit looks like some.
I don't think you want to know what this Moki is. He's the gooning Moki. It's becoming a big thing here. So yeah,
What up, Mokis? Yeah, I was just checking out my Mokis yesterday. To be honest, like, I'm actually due to pick some up.
are we expecting a
Yeah.
Jiho sweep of Mokis?
And lock them
Yeah,
up.
I need to.
Yeah,
I need
exactly.
to.
It's like
I
I
also need to
looked
lock
at
them.
I
Okay,
looked
I
at
can
your
do that.
collection. I
Send
was
me the
like,
link.
this
Send me
guy's
the link for locking.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was
do we
like,
have
this
the
guy
link
is
that we can put in chat?
not promoting our numbers right now. Not promoting our lock numbers.
All right, tell me
I
what's
mean,
the lock system. Like, we'll get into it, but tell me why I need to be locking.
yeah, I feel like that's a good starting point actually, is to give an introduction to the locking of Mokis because it's one of the first steps to preparing for Grand Arena, right, Bruce?
Yeah, so originally we created we introduced the ERC 721X locking mechanism. You know, the ones that CyberKongs has, Jiho. We put those on Mokis. Originally, we introduced the mechanic through Tama.meme. So by trading on Tama.meme and locking up, you get points, and you're going to be able to get a one of two Tama Mart, Tama Bell hat on your Moki. So it's going to be the first time that we're changing the metadata. But for Grand Arena, you're going to be locking in preparation for Grand Arena. So you're going to be putting your Mokis on the road to Grand Arena. And that will have some to be determined bonuses when you get in. But you'll also need to lock it to earn. Like Mokis are going to be battling every day, collecting token, collecting soft currency, and to be able to earn that, you're going to need to lock them up.
So the protocol right now is if you are buying a Moki, you're going to sweep some Mokis and stuff like that. Step one is to obviously sweep them, and then step two is to ensure that they're locked up. And I think the lock is every 30 days, Bruce. I think you may have to re-lock them after that.
That's the thing. You don't need to relock. After 30 days, it's just available to unlock. But
Got
you can keep them in there, and they don't automatically unlock after 30 days.
Okay. So as long as they're locked, then you guys are all good to go. Which is obviously the first step. But Gio wants to go into this with a fresh mind. I know a lot of people probably here in the crowd have been here for some of the leaks and stuff before, Bruce. But I think a good way to bring Gio into it is kind of give the introduction to like the three ways to earn and the three ways you can partake in the Grand Arena as both a holder, a spectator, and maybe you want to whale out, right? Maybe you want to like own a ton of Mokis and what kind of play styles there is for people to do it and approach this going into Grand Arena.
Yeah, I'll give a retread on that. So Grand Arena is taking the 8,887 Mokis because now one is unfortunately dead. Jiho, I don't know if you know that we're holding a funeral for one of them.
What happened? What is the hype? What is the hype around that? What's the alpha? Like I saw that there's like a missing Moki.
So,
People are
Cammyyy, you want
saying it. Chat is saying that it's a lie that this Moki may still be alive or not missing.
He
No.
is in purgatory right now. Let's put it that way. The Moki got sent to a Coinbase wallet And obviously, once something gets put into that wallet, it's not coming back out.
So it's not
So that's
technically dead. He's just lost in the system. He's in the
he.
Yep.
okay. He's
Yes,
technically recoverable if we can get Brian. If we can get Brian, Mr.
Yeah.
Armstrong to help out.
Yep.
yes,
Yep. So right
right.
now this Moki has been lost in the ether for quite a while now. And I think we're calling it on the search for him. So we're gonna be holding a funeral for him. Um where
Yes.
if you want to be there maybe and say a few words. He was always a big fan of you, Jiho, so maybe you can carry the empty casket.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
I
we're
mean, we
gonna have
have seen
singers.
we had the first NFT funeral or like the wedding in pixels. So I think now having the funeral for the Moki is pretty cool. And as Bruce said, we're going to be having a singer. We're going to have some speeches and stuff like that. So we're going to make sure he gets a proper send off until maybe he can be reclaimed one day.
Yeah. Okay, so there's 8,887 of them now because Dear 1847 is gone for what seems to be forever. In that, we're creating a universe of competition between Mokis that runs 24/7. These Mokis are all competing to become the fortune keeper, which is the MVP, the leader of the Mokuverse, right? And to do that, every single Moki owner has the ability to take part in basically an idle strategy game where they can train their Moki to be better at all different attributes, different game types, different competitions,
Mm.
using AI and machine learning, right? So you're able to train your Moki literally using machine learning, edit their stats, edit their tendencies in the arena, and prepare them for battle. They're going to play 24/7 against each other in 3v3. The first game that they're going to play against each other is a 3 ways to win game, which means it's basically like an arcade platform game where there is 3 different ways to win on the map at all times. So let me drop in a
Yeah.
little.
Maybe you could drop the picture you had last week, Bruce, for people who may not have seen it. It's really good for people to visualize
Damn.
the description. Um,
Yeah. So this 3v3, I'm literally invading the artist space right now. I see them all working in there. They're like, what the fuck? I'm just gonna grab a random one that may have new things that we're trying out in it. Bing, bing, bing.
Well, while Bruce is digging around for that, I just think from the description he's given, obviously, Gio, you have your kind of iconic Moki, like you have the Ronin Moki and stuff like that, and like with Mokis
The
currently,
banana. I had the
yes,
banana. The banana mogger, I guess,
yeah,
is
Yeah.
technically his.
exactly.
Uh,
And we always have a thing in the community here, like everyone is very recognized for their Moki. You know what I mean? Like that's your Moki. If anyone sees that, everyone can kind of know it's yours. And I think
Mm.
like the direction we're going with the Grand Arena and having them as AI and having their own personalities is there's going to be fandoms being built around these competitors like that are winning and stuff like that. So it's just going to add another layer of like, maybe these Mokis are going to be able to talk back and be able to give after action reports at some point. And there's going to be a new fan base being built around these individual characters and stuff like that, which is kind of cool because now we're not just looking at the traits and how they look and stuff like that. As Bruce highlighted, the metadata is going to be changing. They're going to have their own stats, so it just completely changes the way people are going to be approaching the marketplace, which I think is really, really cool.
All right, I'll drop more. I don't know what is the official newest one is, so I'm just gonna drop
Oh
one of the
shit,
backgrounds. So
bro!
it's like
This is literally Killer Queen setup vibe. We were just
yeah.
playing that, or we're going to the arcade to play Killer Queen.
Well, you're gonna be super excited, Jiho, because the senior game developer for Killer Queen and Killer Queen Black is Gyro, and he is our games lead. So
Holy. Okay.
So, yeah, so he worked on the Switch release. He was the senior developer there. He's also working on the original arcade version. So it is going to be that 3 ways to win. There's going to be differences in it, in the combat and things like that, but it's going to be heavily inspired by that. So there is that 3 ways to win where you're either collecting gacha balls, returning them to the top, you're eliminating the other team as a buff Moki, or you're riding Wart to the end of the stage, and he
And then
doesn't want to go,
basically
but
the
he will go.
Mokis, and so the Mokis are, it's kind of like you're the general and you're training your team or something like that and
Yes.
optimizing their team, and then do you watch them
Yes.
to basically
Yes.
see what's going on, or
So every game that's played will be streamable live, and they'll also be replayable. There'll also be replays available for every match,
Uh-huh.
which brings into the next piece, which is like, all right, well, if you're not a Moki holder, how do you play in this ecosystem? We're creating an entire fantasy card game over it, where you're able to collect collectible cards of Mokis, create
Okay.
fantasy lineups for those Mokis, and then enter in those competitions. Think like Fantasy Top, but over this game that's being played every day. So you pick 3 Mokis that you collected plus a spell card that changes the way that the game is being scored. For example, like let's say you collect 3 banana Mokis and you have the banana split card, and you get 1.2x points for every banana Moki in your lineup. Like, this is how we're going to create strategy and differentiation in lineups. And then you play daily fantasy contests against everybody else on
people
Ronin.
may not know this, but I'm actually into sabermetrics. Like, I'm actually really good at investing on sports teams. I call it sports investing. Others may call it sports gambling. But I have a good record.
It's gambling
and
strategy.
Well,
I
this
have
is
I
it,
have a
man.
good record. So this sounds like my kind of experience potentially.
I
Yeah.
think the
So
aspect of having them streamed all the time, or like these matches being happening all the time, just is going to create a lot of community events where we could just sit and watch these Mokis perform. Like, if
The
like
problem, guys, is that I guarantee, like, as someone who was involved in shipping Axie auto battles, which was cool, people are gonna want to be like, I want to get in the game. I want to get in the action.
yeah, which is a great point. And it's actually I told Gyro that, and one of the great parts of this, one of the problems in Web3 right now is just player liquidity, especially on multiplayer team games. Like, being able to field like 6 to 10 people in a concurrent match is really hard. Starting out as an auto battler with this fantasy game type over it is, I think, going to be really strong and solve the player liquidity problem. And also, I think it's like a different niche or vertical of games.
There's
It's
right, people have a lot of games that they're already actively playing. Like, right, there's too many MMOs, for example, or like there's so many MMOs, right? So it could be right that there's demand for something that's a little bit more, right, like Football Manager-esque, right?
Yeah. But the great part about having these AI Mokis is, if we were to get the demand to make this multiplayer, and we did do that, you can still play with your Mokis, right? Like, these Mokis are trained to react to the game board. They're trained to have different tendencies. So even if you were playing in the game, you can likely bring your Mokis along with you and play the game with them as your teammates. So having these AI ML Mokis, I think, solves player liquidity problems in multiplayer. It definitely solved fucking QA problems. I'm sure you, as making multiple games, you know that QA is such a fucking pain in the ass. And these things are finding problems before humans can. Like, we had one where the logic for the jump was like, it was good, but there was if you timed it perfectly, you can get a double jump out of it. And they found it in like 2 days of training, and they started abusing it to like fly across the map. So the the AI Mokis are good for a number of things. But outside of that, I think it's super social. Like, you're going to be able to put together lineups. You're going to be able to create content on which lineups are trending, which lineups are recommended for a day's slate of games, and champion Mokis that are. We'll get in the ways to earn, but the champion Mokis in the card packs are, which may be a leak, are also at some point going to be getting AI personalities as well. So we built off We built off like the leading AI chat tech that's out there in open source, and we have a launcher for them. So imagine Jiho being able to talk to Banana Mog and be like, how you
Give
think
an
you're going
after
to do
action
today?
report. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Get an after action report. Get it. Imagine a NBA press conference, but with Mokis.
Are we gonna
It's
see Mokis
totally,
talking shit on the timeline to each other? Like they just have it
totally
like,
possible. Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I really want to do is make sure that they can create rivalries and not like each other. So I think it's a combination of them being a social agent, in-game, bettable, collectible, creates almost like a new genre. It's like a micro sports league that runs 24/7, which we really love because sports leagues can't run 24/7 because humans can't play them 24/7. But we can, and you could play fantasy whether it's 1 a.m. In San Francisco or 12 p.m. in Vietnam. Like you're able to play those things. So that's why
I
I'm
think
really excited about it.
one of the big advantages of having them as AI, one, it's like it kind of deters a botting problem or any kind of problem that could arise from that. And the second thing is because your Mokis are playing for you, the skill ceiling is changed, right? Sometimes with games, the skill ceiling can be pretty high and people can get off put. They'll be like, I can never become the top 100 because I just don't have the skills to do it. Now your Mokis are playing for you, right? So it's how well you train them and how well you can actually get them to perform. That's going to be a thing. So I think it's just a lot easier for a lot of people to get involved because of how competitive it's going to be. There's a lot less blockers there for people to get engaged.
That makes sense. I mean, for me, right, like it used to be that I could play, but now, right, I could play more actively, right? Like, and there were days of Classic, right? It was like player liquidity. I was helping to provide player liquidity, right? It was like my way to part of my doing my job was playing the game, right? And then kind of right, like talking to people within the community. And literally there was 30 to 40 people within the community. Long gone are those types of days. So yeah, no, I think this makes sense. What was
Yeah.
so show me unlocking my Mokis again or send me the link.
Okay.
Like maybe I'll do it right
Yeah.
now.
Now we're talking about earning, right? So there's multiple ways to earn in Grand Arena. Let's talk about if you own a Moki. If you own a Moki, number one needs to be locked as a prerequisite. But when Grand Arena drops, these Mokis are going to be playing in matches 24/7. Whenever your Moki's team wins, you will earn on that match. So the better you train your Moki, the more thought you're putting into a strategy around it, the better earnings that you're going to have as a Moki owner, right? So every time they win, you win. Fantastic. Everything accrues to the Moki. You could withdraw right from the Moki. You could also trade a Moki that has earnings attached to it, right? So there's some stuff going on there and some strategy on the marketplace. Number two is from royalties. Mokis are going to be used on cards, right? So if your Moki appears in a card pack, you're going to be getting direct royalties on chain from each of those card packs being sold. So Banana Mog gets in as a champion. Every single time a pack is sold, a little split off of that pack is going to go to Banana Mog Moki, right? So
Guys,
the more
everyone buy my card.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's the third thing.
I'm literally gonna be showing this nonstop.
Yeah. Card royalties
I'm in the
is
process of making so I have 27 unemployed Mokis.
Yeah. Get them a job, dude.
I'm in the process of winning. All right. I'm in the process of making them.
So that's the
So
third
I'm gonna
thing.
tell people like, so here, so go to tamabell.tama.meme.
Yeah. They have to go to work at Tama Bell.
So prepare for Grand Arena. Step one, go here. And then 2, select your unemployed Mokis. Send them to work at Tama Bell. Perfect. And then
So
they're
and then
earning tacos or what?
well, right now they're going to work, and then we're gonna flip it as they're pumping iron for Grand Arena. So that'll be right after this contest concludes. Um, the third way is secondary card royalties. So every single time, thank you, Jihoz, for the marketplace. OpenSea we're working with right now to fix some of their backend issues. But we have a per card royalty splitter. So when Banana Mog Moki gets sold on secondary on the Ronin marketplace, um, part of that trading fee automatically accrues to the Banana Mog Moki owner, right? So this is now on testnet and is working for every single card in the collection. So Jiho owns Banana Mog Moki. Somebody cracks it in a pack. Jiho gets a little split of that pack revenue. Then that person goes and trades that card. Jiho's gets another cut of the secondary trade on that forever. It's on chain, and that payment splitter, which is awesome, can be extended to anything we do, whether it's merchandise, whether it's additional collections. That payment splitter is now live on testnet. So those are essentially the three ways that you're going to be able to earn outside of like the end of season rewards that accumulate for participating in all parts of the ecosystem. We're gonna have a point system for that. So
I think it's really cool that depending on how the person wants to be active, like maybe they just want to hold a ton of Mokis and like be part of the pack experience and trading in packs and being like that side of things. If they want to be active and actually winning in the Grand Arena, they're also going to be able to do that. Like you're going to have people that are kind of triple dipping, right? If they're winning in the Grand Arena, their card is popular, it's getting traded, and all of this stuff is happening. At the end of a season or whatever like that, they will be collecting from like 3 different sources, right? Their Mokis are getting the royalties and stuff like that. Like it's very, very cool that there's so many different options for so many different types of players and spectators and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool to be able to just offer that to the wide spectrum of the way people play games nowadays with a very low time consuming way of doing it.
Well, I stole all of this from
Interesting.
Jiho. Like I stole all of this from you, man. One of the key parts of that made Axie what it was the ability for people to run the economy, right? And like
Mm.
you giving people the tools, and like the game was almost a backdrop for other meta games that were happening. Like
Mhm.
Axie was fun, but what was more fun? Breeding and running a guild and speculating on what was going to be good. And then like the execution of that happened in the game client, but the game client was almost like the backdrop for the economy to have reason to exist. And that's sort of what we're trying to do in Grand Arena. Like the game, without the game client, breeding is crypto kitties, right?
Yeah,
With the
that
game
was the
client,
idea, right? It's like going
yeah,
back. I was thinking about this, right? Because we're also, figuring out next meta games that we basically want to
yeah,
try on Ronin. We're thinking about, right, like the creation process for Axie was actually, right, us being CryptoKitties players and realizing, right, that there's no point in breeding if there's no, right, actual reason for people to want want the cats. Therefore,
yeah.
right, it's like if you created a game that, would be able to basically have some at least baseline utility for the NFT assets, right? That people would wanna play, then boom, then you're cooking. And then it was like, okay, people are not as interested in NFTs, but but there's a way of basically making the in-game rewards tokenized, right? And then some people actually tried tokenizing in-game rewards as NFTs. We got the idea from Travala, right? So I don't think I've ever told this story, but there was basically a Travala token, right? And people were interested in it. We're like, why the fuck are people interested in a travel company? That sounds really boring. Must be because they have a token. So then we're like, okay, like maybe you can make something. Maybe people are interested in tokens. uh, and basically that's kind of where we got the idea for, right, making it so that you could earn tokenized rewards with your axes, but instead of making those NFTs like the earlier crypto games, making them also ERC20s. So now it's like, okay, you have these Mokis, you're able to kind of run this business metagame of running like a Moki sports team, right? And then
Yes.
you're able to and then people are able to speculate on that. That creates more demand, right, for the different cards because they're kind of like it's like fandom around the different Mokis, right?
Yes.
And then
I
there's
mean,
like revenue
and
sharing. Yeah.
and performance, right? Because getting Banana Mog Moki, if Banana Mog Moki delivers, 6 Gasha balls, gets 2 kills over a match, like that could be the difference between somebody being in the money or out of the money on a fantasy contest, right? So then they go, holy shit, I just won, $1,500 today on a daily fantasy contest, and it was because of Jihoz Moki. That's my new fucking favorite Moki, right? It's like when you get the points over
Mm.
on a player in the NBA, you're like, oh, that's my new guy, right? So I think a lot of this is pretty circular and interconnected. So, and then when they can start talking, you can start interacting with them, which is way
Okay.
different than
I'm
anybody else right now.
gonna be talking to my Moki. Bro, I feel
You
like the
can,
banana mogger is gonna be bullying me, dude.
yeah,
He
I mean,
probably,
he might be bullying everyone. He might be a winner. Like he might be out here. But
Yeah.
I think it's really cool how many different aspects there is going to be of this. Like where maybe some people are only going to be interested in the cards, and like we know people love Gamba. Like people are going to be opening card packs, hoping to pull these like super rare cards and stuff like that that are going to be like sought after and stuff like that. And then you're going to have other people that are just grinding out the game itself, and then there's other people that are just spectating. So I think it's just going to be exciting to see what small like sub communities form around all of these aspects of the game. Like just like it has happened in Axie and stuff like that, right? Like there's like whole guild system in Axie. Like there's other people that are just breeding. There's other people that play it for the bounty board and stuff. There's lots of different ways to play and partake. So I'm just excited to see how that forms here with Grand
we
Arena.
need to have some sort of points farming, bros.
Oh, we do.
That's also
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Let's talk about it. So,
Let's talk about this. How can I farm points? Because people love points, right? Like
yeah.
it's like
So,
another right. Like sometimes you have to be very like basic in your thinking, right? It's like, oh, where did the idea of play to earn come from? It's like people like tokens, right? Now it's like there's a meta of people like points, right?
points
Therefore,
for
how can we
tokens.
integrate that?
Yeah.
Yes, it's actually a good
So,
strategy, right? Because I mean, it's yeah, there's an art to it.
so there's 3 places where funds go whenever somebody spends money into the ecosystem. One is to the Moku Treasury to help us keep this thing going. 2 is to Moki holders for performance, for royalties, etc. We went over those. The third is the end of season pot, right? And some of that will come from the ecosystem, but a lot of that will come straight from pack sales or contest entries. So we're going to be building up this pot. You've seen similar things with like Cammyyy of like big number go up over time. But that
The
season
Cammyyy
reward
model
pool,
is a good model, right? The Cammyyy kind
yeah,
of I think like the important thing about Cammyyy is one, Cammyyy is a great thing on Ronin. Two, Cammyyy shows us this interesting right mechanism of basically right like having some kind of risk to earn, play to earn that's also relatively kind of sustainable, if that makes sense, right?
right. Absolutely, right? So that end of season pot is going to be distributed to people who are accumulating this point system throughout the season, right? So whether that's cracking packs and collecting, whether that's playing in Grand Arena fantasy contests, whether it's training your Moki and having them win in the arena, all of these different activities contribute to your points total and then gives you access to that end of season reward, right? So right now, where season number 1 will have a point system that gives value to all of those things. So we're really trying to, if you're doing everything, that's awesome. You're going to get more points. If you're just contributing in one part, you're still going to win out on that. And it's really cool because like imagine you do a daily fantasy contest where you do an entry fee with an instant payout on it in token, that's awesome. But win or lose, you're also accruing points towards the end of the season rewards. So it almost feels like a double dip in the sense of you have the opportunity for that immediate like payout and dopamine of like winning a contest that day. But you're always accruing towards this end of season
What is
reward pot.
my got it? What is my daily routine as a owner of 28 Mokies, soon to be more? What is my daily routine as an owner, right? And how long does this
Woo!
take? So for
So
example, I'm exploring a lot of these kind of whale loops, right? Like, right, because it's like, what does a collector or someone who's kind of like someone who's got some free capital to spend, let's say Ron and ETH are going up, right, and I'm interested in kind of deploying some of my capital, right, for both fun and also to maybe to earn some points, earn some reputation, have some fun, maybe risk. What am I doing like on a daily basis?
well,
So maybe let me try to reverse engineer it. So I'm checking how my team is doing. So
for
I'm
sure.
reviewing like what they've accomplished, right? So it's kind of like, okay, I'm a Mets fan. We're actually both Mets fans, right? So
I know.
uh
Yeah, let's go
so
Mets.
uh so right, like I check how the team is doing. I see, right, like if there are any optimizations that I would make, right? So as a fan, I'm like, yeah, I'm checking the lineup, I'm checking who did who's done what, and then I'm like thinking about like, are there any optimizations to the lineup that I could be making? Are there any differences in the training where that
Yeah.
needs to
So
happen?
there's going to be multiple classes for this first game that you'll be able to spec into, and then within those classes, there's different attributes that you can tweak up and down, right? And attributes are their number is neither good nor bad. It just depends on how you want them to play. For example, like maybe you want somebody that's faster at carrying the gacha balls to the basket. But in doing so, you likely make them worse at being a warrior or riding ward. So based on how the meta is going, how other people are training their Mokis, you're constantly adjusting to sort of find the edge in performance that other people aren't exploring, right? And then doing that, like you can spec your whole team for the meta, you can diversify your Mokis, and then you put them out there. Probably before you're checking on stuff, you're probably redeeming all of the token, the soft currency that they're earning, so you can go reinvest it back into training. So you're definitely looking at the meta, looking at the performance metrics, and then tweaking knobs up and down is going to be a big part of on how they do it. Yeah, Trevor, I saw the fucking thing, and Trevor, I almost had to delete him from the chat, but then I realized he's a good guy, so
You're
I
not
stopped
allowed.
myself.
You're not
Yeah,
allowed
yeah,
here anymore.
yeah. I had the mod
Um,
power to do it though, so but then I was like, nah, I like Trevor, I won't do it. Um, but yeah, that's so it's at its heart, it's an idle strategy game, right? Like you're accumulating resources, you're applying those things to make them better and train them over time. Their performance is like it's definitely going up in training. Sometimes
mm.
there's a little bit of unevenness because we are using AI and ML.
How can
So
we This is sick. How can we use this to like, okay, this is for me, right? Like let's think about like in terms of user acquisition terms, right? Like for me, it seems like the lookalike audience for this game might be right people from the virtuals ecosystem or something like that. Right? Because you're kind of there's this AI thing, right? How can we basically use this to basically expand the pie of Ronin, right? Because I think the consensus that we see is that Ronin has a great strong core community. It's one of the largest communities of real people who actually are interested in using games and gamified applications in crypto, but it's not enough, right? So we either need to onboard net new people to crypto, or onboard net new people on chain, or attract people from other kind of like lookalike ecosystems or chains into Ronin. So how can we do that how are you guys thinking about doing that with Grand Arena?
Well, I think there's two audiences. There's one, I think this is just going to have mass appeal to degens that want to speculate. And I think that's cross chain. This is an opportunity for people to come in, learn a novel ecosystem, and make money, right? And the more time that they put into understanding the metas, the more that they'll win in the fantasy layer, right? As far as AI goes, it's probably the first application of AI in crypto that makes sense outside of navigating chains and transactions, right? There's like a lot of bots that are like, hey Jarvis, like stable my coins and it'll find the routes and do it. I think that's a really good application. But I think most of the social applications have fallen flat and not really delivered a lot of value. I think this is one of the first ones using gaming that is something cool and novel, right? And like we see, like gaming is usually the place where new technology gets kicked around first. Like we're using core ML stuff in the Unity engine that basically nobody else is using right now. So I think if you are interested in AI and like AI applications, this is a perfect place to fuck around, right? And really get experience of like, oh, I tuned this up 2 points and I updated this sort of attribute and now the thing plays fucking totally differently. Holy shit, this is cool, right? Like that's sort of the experience that we want people to get by like turning the knobs on their character. So if you're like an AI ML enthusiast, I think this is really cool to be a Moki owner. If not, I think everybody in this room came here to earn at some point, right? And that's just like a core thing. Like Fantasy Top had it had a decent user base, but a very high spending user base, and that was over a game that kind of sucked, right? Like betting on Twitter influencers that can be gamed and fucked around with was kind of a deck of cards stacked against you, where this AI Moki game is like an entire universe that you can play in. So I'm really excited about that.
I mean, I agree. That was something I wanted to bring up before we kind of closed off this area of the thing, is like talking about the AI, because obviously with our last hands-on meeting and like people that own a Moki can see in Moki's Paradise for the last couple of days, stuff has been dropped in there by a kill in the team showing the Moki's learning, and you can see the graphs of how they're learning every day. Like I think the AI element is one of the most exciting elements, because we're building what's like, there's no blueprint, right? We're creating the blueprint of the AI stuff here, and I think that's like something that can't be understated. Like I think it's really, really cool what the Mokis are going to be able to do with the AI that's powering them.
We need to partner. We need to partner the Moki. Let's sign a partnership between Jihoz and Grand Arena. So Jihoz should be focused on shilling Grand Arena for a good amount of time as well.
You could be a commentator or something.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'll put
there's something
Jihoz.
there. There's something there. Like we're working on. He's in the lab. Like he's literally 50 Cent in the club. Like kind of right, being worked on. Getting him
Not gonna
ready
lie,
back for.
we could probably put him in the game.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Like he's, we want to integrate him. I want to integrate him a bunch. Yeah, the Signal guys, right? So if you guys know Signal and the Acolyte team, right? They're working on getting him up, and we've been training him and getting him working. So there's something also there.
I think we could probably put it now. The games team is probably fucking groaning somewhere right now where I'm go make
no pressure. I think like
go make a model
let
of Jihoz,
provide value first, right? Let him provide value first, so we can get him shilling.
Yeah, well, that's also the beauty
because
of
also,
this.
right, there's like a so what I was kind of alluding to is, right, it's like, I just posted about being in the virtual trenches because I'm like a large I'm one of the original buyers of Vader, because I know Vader, right, from
Same.
because he's a gaming guy, right? He was a gaming guy before he was an AI guy, right? He was an Axie guy, an Axie economy commentator for a while, right? And I spoke to him a lot about, right, like, balancing the Axie economy back in the day. Anyways, so I have a lot of a lot of Vader, which I was able to get at like much lower prices. I'm not like I'm not like super a whale. But I got a lot of Vader, I staked it, and then boom, like I just posted about joining one of the things, the Virgin Launchpad or whatever, and there's a lot of people who are interested in us and who know me and know us that are kind of in the virtuals ecosystem, right? So and we also did that partnership, right, with Jihoz. So there may be some way to basically bridge, right, the gap between like the base and the ETH and the AI communities and the Ronin community, like using this product specifically.
Yeah, agreed. And also a big fan of Vader was in his first round too. He's a really really smart guy. Glad I held on to that. Well, I mean, I was vested, so I had no choice. But the pre-sales, RIP. So I really think that there's a lot of strong crossover there. And on top of that, I think it's also really easy for us to integrate really popular social agents into the game. Where
Yes, please, right? Like we just need some kind of right partnership loop. Like one of the questions that I always think about is like how can we have like a very easy non light partnership loop where you can just make like partnership announcement after partnership announcement to just get like tons of awareness, right?
yeah,
Because it's like something like this is like a lot of social proof is necessary, if that makes sense, right? And
for
the
sure.
best way to build social proof is like tons of announcements that are like not totally non-substantive, but are also really
Yeah,
light and easy to make.
for like,
Right? It's like when, the early days of Axie, right? Boom, we partnered with Samsung, we partnered with Kakao, we partnered with Ubisoft, right? And that's actually why the 4chan community was interested in Axie, right? And that's why we're able to basically break out of our obscurity, right, back in 2019, 2020. So
right. Well, imagine Jihoz gets access to all of his game performance data that he can reference from his agent and talk about it, right? Like that's what we're doing with the native Moki agents. We're just making this data stream available to the social agents that they can talk about it. And we're doing it in a way where we're note taking over it. So they have the context of the match and they're able to intelligently talk about it without sounding like idiots. And we can make that available to AI XPT. We can make that available to Jiho. So that's what I'm excited about too, is being able to insert other social agents in there where, we probably only do, maybe one or two for a release outside of the Mokis. Because we want to give a lot of value back to the Mokis, but it's totally available. It's lit.
Awesome. Yes, awesome. And just
Jihoz
like
is coming back, May smile. That sounds sick. Like I'm excited for Grand Arena. I feel like there's a decent number of people who are like vaguely excited or kind of excited about Grand Arena, but right, they kind of need, I tried to approach this discussion. I tried to approach this discussion right without like kind of pretending like I don't know anything about Grand Arena, which is true about certain things, right? But less true about others. So.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is like an awesome time to like open up the floor to people if they have any questions for Bruce as far as things in Grand Arena. But I think it was a pretty good coverage of things, and I'd like to just give you the opportunity, Geo, to like discuss anything Ron related. Like if you want to discuss like maybe upcoming plans with the path forward for Ron, or like I think it was you referencing like possible reputation systems and stuff like that. Is there anything that you would like to discuss there?
So I'm currently at a new office that's Cammyyy is starting up within the United States. So and so we're meeting here and we're discussing basically right a lot of the different strategic initiatives that we have on the table and what we can basically kind of prioritize. Yeah, Trevor. Let's hang out. So basically some of the things that we're thinking about are let's start from the problems, right? It's like there is we have a strong community and right, like when it comes to gaming, people think about Ronin, but right now Web3 gaming right doesn't really have a scalable, repeatable model. And two, and right, like due to the wealth effect, right? Gaming coins haven't performed well. Ron hasn't performed well. Right, alts generally haven't performed well. ETH has underperformed. It's starting to change a bit, which is promising. But basically, right, there's less of a wealth effect on Ronin right now. So we're talking a lot about how do we basically solve this issue of being able to attract net new people into the ecosystem, either converting existing people who are in crypto into on-chain users for the first time, kind of like we did in 2021, or like vampire attacking or attracting users from other EVM chains onto the Ronin network. Some of the things that we have thought about related to that is, okay, we're seeing basically how useful kind of these metagame or metagame/loyalty systems can be. Things like the Kaido, Kaido Yapper score. That's kind of more like a loyalty or point system for top of funnel uh, reputation. Things like the reason I'm playing around with the virtuals thing, is I'm also studying that system. There's a virtual system which is basically more around bottom funnel. I think the thing that Ronin has here is because we have across the ecosystem almost the entire funnel, we have the chance to build something that would be some sort of a social graph for gamers that takes into account points from the entire funnel, right? So top of funnel, you could basically integrate stuff like Kaido and Cookie for top of funnel awareness. But then, you also have middle funnel stuff like playing games and expressing skill in games. And then you also have bottom funnel, which is staking, AXS, Ron, and also buying NFTs and trading on dexes and things like that. So within Ronin, we have the capacity to basically build the best social graph of gamers and people who use gamified applications in crypto, and pull the levers to incentivize it. What I'm seeing is there's a lot of competition around TGEs, but there's less innovation when it comes to basically doing live ops for existing tokens, right? Tokens are products that you need to continue innovating and working on after they're released. And I think that that's something that we've basically lagged behind on. That's also why we've talked about a lot of innovation related to app tokens, ERC20C, right? That could also be related to this reputation system because obviously you would want to give out tokens and have sufficient incentives for this something like this reputation system. But how do you also make it so that doesn't become another source of huge sell pressure on Ron or the different tokens that you're giving out? Why do you give out tokens to the communities? You want to align incentives with them for the long term, right? You want to attract missionaries, not mercenaries. Anyway, so that's something that we've been thinking about. Obviously, talking a lot about the Axie MMO, what it needs to be. Also, how do we make sure that it's not just a great game, but also has a sound economic model and kind of pushes Web3 gaming economics to the next level? How do we avoid some of the pitfalls that we've seen with development and the rest of Web3 gaming, as well as with some of the Axie stuff like Homeland? And yeah, we'll have an internal test for Atia's Legacy this week. So as kind of a preparation for the summer playtest.
That was actually going to be my next question. If there's anything that you can say in regards to the MMO or anything that's kind of upcoming or a timeline or something like that. So that's cool that, internal tests are happening. And we're still expected to get a playtest for the summer, which is pretty exciting for people.
A question: If I fly over there, can I play? NDA.
You guys will be playing. You will be
He's
playing
like,
soon.
no, you can't.
Politely
Fine,
no.
whatever, man. Whatever.
Yeah, come over here. Anything can happen. I mean, if you literally come to my laptop, then yes, you'll be able to play, right? So.
All right, on my way.
Playable version.
It hasn't been released yet internally. It should be either tomorrow or something like that this week.
Okay.
I have my laptop at the new office. Trevor, are you in SF? I can't remember. I for some reason I know that you're in Cali, but I couldn't remember.
Well, that is pretty exciting. And like, thank you for like sharing that. And if there's anything else that you kind of want to speak on Ronin, like that's totally cool right now. But I think we've actually covered like quite a lot of stuff here today, like as far as Grand Arena and stuff goes. And obviously now you gave us the kind of inside
Uh,
scoop on
another
what's
thing, right, is like, it's always it's a little tricky to like write this out on Twitter and stuff like that. But
okay.
I mean, one thing that I want to say, right, is like I appreciate the resilience of the community. Obviously, it's been hard times on Ronin. It's been a little bit tricky, right? Oh, we opened up Ronin and all these random fucking games, right? All these random games tried to come and like extract from the community, but I'm seeing the community kind of wise up. And that's like the idea is, right? You have to be the community had to kind of learn, right, to do their own research and increase the quality bar, right? So I saw recently, right, some of the launchpad projects that didn't seem like super well thought out. Right, some of those games tried to launchpad and it didn't really work out, right? So I see the community wise getting smarter and doing their research. And um, I think that's been pretty good. I also think that we have a good understanding of the problems. Right? Like I always see like, I see Hantao's posts about, right, like the different issues on Ronin. As long as we know what the problems are, and we can express them really well, that's actually like a lot of progress towards fixing them. The problem is actually when you have problems, but you don't express them or you don't even know what they are. Any problem that is expressed can be solved. The problems are the problems that you don't even know that you have. Um, yeah, regarding like also, I think a lot of people are interested in like buybacks. Yeah, we're working on being able to expedite those. There's like some complex like accounting and kind of tax things that can basically make that. Obviously we would have loved to do it ASAP. But it's a little bit tricky. But we're working on being able to expedite those things.
I think that's going to
Yeah, I
be
mean, we're trying to make
music
it
to a
we're
lot of
trying to
people's
make it so
ears.
that basically there's no tax, kind of complication for accessing, the treasury, basically, if that makes sense.
I think that
Yeah.
is going to be music to a lot of people's ears because that's a question I've seen come up on the timeline quite frequently.
Yeah, I mean, that's also what that's also the question that I ask internally, right? A lot. It's like, "What the fuck? What's going on with that?" So, um, I'm with you guys, right? Like, I'm always if you guys are thinking about something and really want it to happen and it makes sense, right? Like, do trust that, I'm also voicing that internally. And sometimes there's complicated things that require that just can't be. It means that something like that can just be like done at the drop of a hat. But I do think that it's been like unacceptably long. And but I think also, right, it's like it's imagine if we had executed that proposal, when Ron was at $3 or $4, right? We would have basically bought high, and we would be out of firepower on the dip, right? Because a lot of alt gaming alts have dipped a bit. So I think, like, let's look on the bright side. We have some dry powder, some ammunition with Ron, very very underpriced or undervalued.
Oh, well, that's going to be, and I think that's really great transparency. Actually, a lot of people are going to appreciate like that, like 2 or 3
A little bit
minutes. So
easier to be
that's good.
transparent, like here, like kind of an intimate setting, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, no, we totally get that. Like, it is, the second you put anything out on Twitter, right, it just gets annihilated, or like people are either going to be for it or against it or whatever. So I think having a face on the camera and talking with such transparency is definitely an easier environment to do that in. So that's greatly appreciated. And yeah, like, I mean, is there anything else you want to personally touch on, or we can start like kind of closing off this section? I know you guys are probably super busy, so we appreciate you even coming on and just having this conversation. So like Bruce or Gio, if you have anything else that you want to say to everybody, I'm sure they'll be all eager to hear. But we can start closing off.
Well, no, Jiho, I appreciate you coming on, man, and learning a little bit more about Grand Arena. I'm excited to see the Banana Mog Moki out there. I'm also
Dude, I mean, he's
have
gonna be
retweeted.
this dude is the Shohei Ohtani of Mokis. This is the fucking Soto of Mokis. I
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be out there. He's gonna be making money. He's gonna be getting fans. I'm gonna be shilling him. yeah, I guess just keep me updated, man, on the launch, on the progress of the launch. I'm excited.
I mean, we would absolutely love to have you back on at some point, like maybe in a month or two, once we get very closer to launch. And obviously, there'll be more updates with Ronin and the Axie MMO then as well. Maybe it'll be after the playtest or before the playtest. So,
Yeah,
I think
thanks
it's
for
very
having me, guys.
obvious. Yeah, no, for sure. I think the community is very happy that you came through. So it's been awesome to
I
have you
also
on the
saw
show.
a hard question. I don't want to be avoiding any hard questions. Hard question from Addict. Hard question, but is the treasury big enough to make a difference? Yeah, I mean, that's actually the thing is I don't think it would have been big enough right at the, when Ron was much higher in price and and liquidity was much higher, but I think right now it's like, Ron is very depressed. And there's not that much liquidity, so yeah, so I think a small amount of like capital can actually go a large way in moving the price. I mean, I saw people right freaking out about movements of like $25,000 of Ron, right? So imagine, right, if we put a couple mil of ETH and stables to work, right? What might be able to happen. I also think it's just a good signal to the market, and also I think people outside of the ecosystem might not understand how the Ron value accrual works, and even if we describe it to them, right, it's not enough. I mean, it's even same within the ecosystem, right? It's like you guys, right? You're not going to believe the power of the buybacks or how the token works until it actually is implemented. So I think like likewise for the rest of the ecosystem. So I think it's also more of a symbolic thing. Trevor is asking, do you think running game launching a token in virtuals would work well? Potentially. It could be a way, right, to bridge the two communities. There are different ways to do it though. Maybe it could be that giving people something on Ronin or in your game based on their virgin points or based on the tokens that they're holding could also make sense, right? You don't necessarily need to. So let's think about, right, like what was the question that I asked yesterday was how in the early days, the way that Axie got beyond its first cohort of CryptoKitty users was by going to the Decentraland community and saying, hey, if you own Decentraland land, then we're going to give you Axies. What is the modern day version of that? It's not like, hey, launching. It's not Axie. Right? So back in 2018, Axie didn't launch a token in Decentraland or launch anything within their ecosystem. It was more just, okay, you own this, we're gonna give you this in our ecosystem, right? So there's better ways to basically vampire. Uh, there's basically better, potentially interesting ways to vampire, right? So it's like I understand the problem that you're trying to solve, right? There's always a difference between problems and solutions, right? So problem is you want to get people from virtuals ecosystem interested in Ronin. The solution that you're suggesting is launching a token on virtuals, but that might not be the only solution that solves the problem that we're trying to achieve, if that makes sense, right? So it's like maybe like allowing people to use their virgin points, right, for something on Ronin or something like that could make sense too. So
Awesome. Well, I think the last thing to say is that hopefully you can come through to the funeral. That would be awesome to have you at the funeral for the Moki. It'll be at 10 a.m. EST. It might be a bit early, but if anybody here can come through, we'll be hosting an event for the Moki. And I think our community just provided you with your own personal Gunner license. We're going to be rolling these out next week, but you can get one of the first ones made.
so what is this winner license?
I mean,
I just want to say the art did not come from our art team, and this is not an officially licensed Moku product. This is
no,
100% community based. Before you take a look at any of the details on it, yeah, with that, I'll let Cammyyy continue.
Yeah, I mean, Gooning has definitely took over the Discord. The community has gravitated towards it, and they have decided that they want to present people when they say out of pocket stuff in the Discord. They want to give them a memory of it, kind of, and put it on their license. So people will be able to start repping their Gooner licenses next week once we roll them out properly. So you're getting one of the first ones. So thank you to Seth for making that.
There's also prayers that the
Oh yeah,
community
we
has
have
made?
prayers, we have commandments and everything here. Yeah, it's going pretty deep. We have a whole Goonology religion.
Where's the goon commandments?
I
Does
think we have
somebody
the
have
prayers.
them?
I think Aaron might have commandments. We have the prayer here. We have the yeah. Oh, yeah, Aaron has the commandments. Yeah.
Jihoz, if you want to just take a minute and just maybe read through the 10 goon commandments.
Thou shalt scroll with full commandment. The fuck is this?
It's a lifestyle. It's honestly a lifestyle, man. Like it's people wake up here every day and like they just say this out loud. It gets them going.
Nice. I like it. Praise
Awesome.
to Moki, trickster of tabs. If it's cursed, post it. If it loops, watch it. If it feels right, you're already gone. There is no off switch, only reboot. Doubt is for the goners. Goon with honor, goon with pride. I am a gooner. I need no reason. I scroll because I must. I loop because I cannot stop. Moki sees me. Moku understands me. I goon, therefore I am.
Deep. Yeah, I think that is the most amazing way to end this. Thank you, Gio. Thank you, Bruce, and
I don't
obviously
know what
thank you.
fucking happened, but
No, this has been awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for coming through. I know we didn't go through the whole article. We're tough on time right now, but I think this has definitely been worth getting to have this conversation and stuff. And hopefully, we can have one in another month or two, because it's been great. So everybody have a good rest of your day. Whatever spec ops mission you're on, Jiho, I wish you luck. And yeah, everyone get ready for the funeral on Friday. 10 a.m. EST. Awesome. Well, I think we can kind of close off then. People can jump in the Moki's corner if they want. Cammyyy Ðany. Wait, Cammyyy Ðany. What did I do? What did I do? Never bust, never stray. Okay. I guess we can end the stage.
Hold on. I have one more thing.
One more thing?
Yeah. I have one. I have a new version that has leaves.
Oh. Okay.
They have leaves now.
The live updates. And obviously, Bruce, if like people are getting them now because they're at the show, right? But otherwise, these will only be going into Moki's Paradise. So
Yeah.
Moki holders get it first.
They do. Only when I'm actively leaking a Woku Wednesday, everything else goes into Moki Paradise. But leaves,
exactly.
look at the leaves. They're so chunky.
Yep. I think this is going to be very interesting to see because like it's giving depth, right? And it's giving perspective and stuff like that. So when our Mokis are actually integrating into this, it's going to just look good. It's actually like literally going to just look awesome to watch these matches go on, and it's all going to be within one screen, right? So
yeah.
These environments are coming alive, and if people don't know, if you ever see someone called Lizzie in Moki's corner, she is like the person that's kind of crafting this with the rest of the art team and stuff, and she does it live. Like those rocks, I watched her do those live in Moki's corner. So it is really awesome to be able to watch it be built in the open, right? A lot of people are hush hush and only release things when it's perfect or whatever, but if you're a Moki holder and active in the Discord at all, you're watching these things come to life literally in front of you, which I think is cool. In the age of people hiding everything, I think transparency and building in the open is awesome. Yeah, Lizzie is here. Like we show trash live, exactly. So I just think that's a cool thing to highlight for people that may not be used to the Discord or whatever. But yeah,
and we have to bring up. We have a new artist that started last week. Her name is Rachel, and she should be around here from time to time as well, doing stuff. So if you see Rachel in the Discord, say hi. She's a new artist.
Yes. Oh yeah, Handhow just added her, and she's probably going to be wondering why everyone's adding her. She's like, "Did I do something wrong?"
Yeah.
No, but it's very exciting. A lot of stuff in the pipeline. It is very, very hype. And every day that we go to sleep and wake up is another day closer to Grand Arena right now. And we're seeing sweeps happen every day. So everybody's kind of waking up to it. Very exciting. Cool. Well, we won't take up any more time from people. We'll jump into where we gotta go. Okay.
Unless we have more leaks. No. I think we did a lot.
Yes, I think so. I think there's a lot of clips that can get from this. We'll definitely clip it up and chop it up for people who might have missed it. And some clip out of Jiho reciting the Goon Commandments. That was incredible. So, one more leak. Trevor wants one more leak. I mean, I think a lot of people may have missed something that Lizzie posted recently in regards to a friend she was showing off. If people are smart, they will put some stuff together there. Lizzie dropped something a while ago, which was
No.
very exciting.
No, you know what? No, because people don't notice. People don't read between the lines here, guys. You guys are all too busy gooning. You're not speculating hard enough. You know, we're
Maybe they're
dropping
goners.
breadcrumbs everywhere. You guys might be goners. I don't know. I think you have to tonight before you go to bed. I'm gonna need you to just sit at the edge of your bed and read through your goon commandments, say your goon prayers, and start looking at the things that the people are posting in the Discord from the team, because there may be clues in there to
On
things
socials.
that are
Lizzie's
going
been
on.
posting
And
stuff on
socials,
socials
yeah.
too. Lizzie,
Yeah.
definitely follow Lizzie, guys, for like any art stuff, and I'm sure Gyro will be releasing game stuff. Like Kill has been releasing AI stuff. Like there's puzzle pieces being put out there if you put them together. It's exciting. Yeah, now everyone's gonna go check everyone's socials. Bruh. But yeah. Awesome attendance, awesome show out, awesome leaks.
What? Lizzie's our Academy Award-winning creative director. Yeah, just low key. I also like the team is so stacked that I found that one of the problems is they're also so humble. Like we were doing our intros. We had a meeting with Rachel yesterday to just intro her to the whole team. And everybody's like, oh, I just work on the Unity front end. And it's like, no, dude, your last job was at Naughty Dog working on like the fucking Last of Us. Like you do cool things. Say things.
You worked on Call of Duty, like it's not a small pitch thing. Like what the hell, dude?
Worked on Call of Duty, dude. Like, what do you mean you're just doing little front end things? So like I think one thing our team probably needs to do better is show off a little bit more, because half the time we don't say enough about ourselves.
Lizzie requests to speak.
Okay. Whoa.
Sorry, that just reminds me. I was at a Academy Award event, and I was talking to this dude who worked on the original Star Wars. He was like doing the practical sets and helping with VFX. And my jaw was dropped. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool, it's so sick. And then someone else joined the table, and they were just like, tell me about yourself. Like, who are you? And he was just like, who am I even? I'm an artist. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I just do things, I work in TV, in movies sometimes.
Just did a couple of movies. Just a movie.
Maybe Bruce, getting closer to Grand Arena, we got to do a meet the team thing where everyone can have a scorecard and their achievements and stuff, so everyone understands how stacked the team actually is.
We should, but I love how humble the team is, because it makes working with each other just so easy when there's not a lot of ego. But also for the community, you guys need to know we got some heavy hitters up in this. Yes. I've just been water over a stone, just wearing down people for years to come work at Moku.
And it's all aligning for this. Everything leads to Grand Arena.
Yeah.
Truth.
I've been trying to get Lizzie to work here for I've been trying to work with Lizzie for probably 10 years, but I've been trying to get Lizzie to work with Moku for like 3 or 4 since we started. Can we do a story? Do you guys know the there's a small room. Do you guys know the collaboration between Flatbush Zombies. Did I tell that story in here? If I have,
No,
just let
no,
me
you have
know.
not. But you told us, and it blew our mind. You absolutely should share that story. It's so cool.
Okay, because since Lizzie's up here, we'll tell the story. So, back in the day when we were Super Whale, we were trying to get these like cultural crossovers with Super Whale and Axie to sort of like bridge over into Web 2 more. And I had some connections in the music industry, and I like hung out with a lot of these dudes at some point or another. Like I met like A Boogie with the hoodie. I was on the phone with Action Bronson's manager. Like, but
Whoa.
we were talking with, well, not really his manager. It was Big Body Bess, which that conversation went exactly how you would think a conversation with Big Body Bess goes, if anybody knows him or knows of him. But we got in contact with this group called the Flatbush Zombies. They're like, you know, they're not a huge rap group, but they're pretty big. And I met them outside of Yams Day and got in touch with his manager. And they were going to do an Axie Flatbush Zombies collaboration. So I talked with Lizzie, and I'm like, Lizzie, Axie will pay for this. They want to do these types of things. And Lizzie's team at the time puts together this fucking sick
Super dope.
promo for Flatbush Zombies Axie collaboration that took place on a record spinning with the Flatbush Zombies driving around fighting zombie Axies. And
we made cards.
And you made cards. Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
and
Rooster, they are a bit more than a smaller rap group. They almost have 1 million listeners on Spotify. Like, they're pretty big.
They're pretty big. Yeah, it's not like Drake.
Yeah.
It's like we didn't get Drake on this, but
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, it's still pretty insane.
Yeah, and then Sky Mavis was like, I don't know, like I don't know if this is gonna like cross over, right? So we ended up not doing it, but we have this like sick like demo image. Let me see if I can find it. But they ultimately said no, and it had Jiho in it as well.
That's right, we put him in the back.
Yeah. Oh, I found it.
Oh my God.
I found it. Okay, so this was the original thing. Here we go. Here's a style frame. Look how fucking cool this is.
It does look insane.
Wait. Oh.
Bro.
Oh my God.
Right? And it took place, this entire thing took place on a spinning record that would play it from the top. Lizzie was doing cool shit for Ronan before she even knew what a wallet was.
This was a combo of CG and 2D.
Yes.
But yeah, if you can you spot Jihoz back there?
Yeah, can you guys find them?
I have it up on screen as well for people.
Yeah, can you guys clip Jihoz and then and put them in there? And then here are the cards.
These are insane leaks. Well, like these.
I was on the phone with Flatbush Zombies manager, and they're like, I don't know. They're thinking about breaking up, which I could talk about now because like, but they're like, oh, they're thinking about breaking up. They might want to do something with Cool Cats. I'm like out here pitching Axie against Cool Cats, and then ultimately Sky Mavis doesn't end up doing it, and it died.
So the question is, do you still have those connections, Bruce, or are they gone? Can they be
I mean, I don't
like.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked with ASAP P in a while. I definitely have connections back there, but you know, obviously I've been in this space for so long. But we had. Did I tell the A Boogie story in here? I mean, if you guys already know
it to me, you said it to me, but no, not to anybody else. Like.
So A Boogie with the hoodie gets passed to me because he's a New York guy and he wants to start an Axie guild. This is like 2021 magic. This is like A Boogie wants to talk to you, Bruce, about starting an Axie guild. And I'm like, fine. So I get on with A Boogie on a Zoom call, and it's like him and his team. And like A Boogie has like the overlay mustache on for like the Zoom calls have, where you can do like an overlay thing. So A Boogie's just sitting in the Zoom call with the overlay mustache on. I'm like, this is not a serious conversation. So we talk about it, and we go over like Axie and like the numbers and how cool it is at the time. And we get to the conversation. And they're like, all right, we'll let you know. We're still working through some things. But they go, hey, where do you live? And I'm like, okay, well, that's a weird. Should I tell you where I live? And I'm like, oh, I'm up by so and so. And he's like, oh shit, my grandma lives around there. Like, can we come by? And I was like, what? I'm like, I was like, I guess. And they're like, all right, we'll be over there in like 30 minutes. I'm like, wait, you guys are like coming today? You guys are coming right now? They're like, yeah, we could like chop it up and talk about the guild stuff. And then I was like, oh, okay. So I run outside and I'm like talking to my wife. I'm like, A Boogie with the hoodie and his crew are coming over. And she's like, what? And I'm like, we have to clean up. So like we like clean up real quick. And then just his team comes over. He doesn't come over, but his team comes over and they start like rolling up weed in my office. And I'm like, I come and like we have like a don't smoke, no smoking in the house rule. So I run outside. I'm like, babe, they're gonna smoke weed in the office. Like I can't stop them. It's like A Boogie's team. Like I can't.
Don't make me look lame right now.
Yeah. I was like, don't be a party pooper right now. Like they're gonna smoke weed in the office. And then so then we're in there and like we're literally like playing Axie, and they're like smoking out the entire room, and like I can't keep up with them. Like these guys are professionals. Like so veterans. I'm just trying to hang on and showing them Axie, and my wife was so mad. She's like, I can't believe you let them smoke that much weed in the office. And I was like, it's A Boogie's team. I don't know what you want me to do. Like he's famous. So they ended up not making a guild at the time, but then just to make it full circle, like, and this probably stays within this room, but our lawyers were like, hey, there's somebody that I want you to meet. They're thinking about doing like a meme coin launchpad. They want to partner with somebody. And I know you guys are doing Tama meme. I was like, all right, who is it? And he's like, A Boogie with the hoodie. I was like, oh my God, not again. So they but we ended up declining that call. I was like, A Boogie's not as big anymore. I'm not doing this.
He's pretty big still. He's like 1 million followers on Instagram.
Yeah, but what do I look like? Working.
I mean,
like
what we can take from this is there is probably a 95% chance we won't have a song by either of them in Grand Arena as some sort of cool entrance thing, but it's not exactly zero.
Maybe I'll reach back out and be like, hey, I don't know.
Can you drop a verse for Grand Arena?
As creative director, do you think an A Boogie with the hoodie would fit our brand image for Grand Arena?
Bro, he's definitely into Goonie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is super cool. Like, I don't think anybody could ever imagine any of that lore. Like, that is insane stories. It really is. So I think that's cool to be able to share that with people because it blew my mind first time I heard it.
Yeah. Dragon, if you see what some of these people ask on the back end of these deals, you'll probably say the same thing. You'd be like, you want how many percents? You're not that famous, dude.
When Bruce reveal? I mean, Bruce is revealed.
I'm revealed. I'm all over the place, man. Check me out. I'm actually just Gyro.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm just Gyro. I'm just collecting 2 paychecks here. Oh my God, I never saw that.
Wow. Wow.
That's actually how I dance in real life, so that's pretty spot on.
There is many different professions that you've entered. Clearly, an actor, a singer, Like it's
Yep.
there's many different lines. Now you're just an AI overlord.
Mm.
Yep.
Bruce
Well,
is incredible.
that was that was such a fun time doing stuff like that. That was what
Oh my
you're
god.
on once
Oh
once
my
Bryce
god, that looks so sick.
what once Bryce and I tried to do a through the ASAP group, we tried to get ASAP Rocky to do a show at NFT NYC, and he like the number he wanted was like so big that like it wasn't even plausible to find the money anywhere. I was like, okay, forget it. What about Ferg? What's Ferg doing? And they were like, forget it.
Oh, here's a breakdown of that style frame. If anyone's interested of how it gets developed.
Oh,
What? That's so cool.
But it started from a sketch that looked like this. And then we like built it all in 3D, but then we flattened it all and then bent it like
And then you bushed it.
around yeah, that's right.
that's so cool.
Man.
I can't believe you still have those.
We got everything.
Yeah, I figured.
I've got booty
throw away
shakers,
work.
everything.
Yeah. Well, you guys want leaks. You got leaks. You guys got lore. You guys got history.
This has
You guys
been,
don't know about Lizzie's booty shakers? You want to throw a booty shaker, Lizzie?
Yeah, I'll show the best one.
There's just a show and tell now. There's not a show anymore. I'm sorry, guys.
The DK booty.
Mm-hmm. That hair is so good.
I was gonna share this one soon. Oh, you know what was the best about the booty shaker collection was we made one for Mike Shinoda, and I was like,
no way.
so fucking thrilled, so thrilled, just screaming because I was telling the group the other day that like my first editing experience was like I used PowerPoint to make an animated music video cutting up clips from Trigun. Like to In the End. So like I fucking love Linkin Park. You don't even know.
That's so
I don't
good.
even know how I did it. But yeah, lots of dope stuff in here. That shit was fun.
Oh, Gyro is dropping his incredible MS Paint diagrams.
Mm-hmm. This is
Nice.
actually what the back end to all Grand Arena looks like.
Yeah, every single blueprint for Grand Arena is actually done like it's in crayon.
You are Bruce. Good job.
Yep. Well. All right. Well, I think I'm running out of stories.
Yes, I think so. And I do believe there is a meeting ready to go. So
Oops.
appreciate everybody for jumping in and actually staying and hanging out and stuff. I know we didn't go over the issue itself, but I hope it was worth having the conversation and interview. And obviously, you guys can go on Twitter and the whole issue is there for you guys to read as a thread or interactive. And of course, next week we'll have more leaks. I'm sure either Bruce or maybe Gyro will be on to talk about the team stuff, or the game side of things. So appreciate all you guys sticking it out, and hopefully it was worth it. And I know a lot of people are excited for this.